Fan of this channel, you've likely seen Homeseek before, but this is a brand new mission of a game coming soon to Steam, giving us more of an overall picture of this post-apocalyptic base building slash city builder on an Earth that's basically been destroyed, stripped of its resources, and there's a severe lack of water. Essentially, think of Mad Max, and also maybe a little Frostpunk and Endzone: A World Apart, and many of the other post-apocalyptic games and survival games you've seen on this channel. Well, the previous first mission that we saw was basically humanity coming up out of bunkers and out of shelters and whatnot to try to find a new home, hence the name Homeseek. Well, they found their way out of a valley and have now secured technology to try to create shelters and big bases, but now the most important thing is water. So in today's episode, we're going to try to find a more permanent source of water, lakes, rivers, and streams, etc., but more importantly, find ways to harness those resources and purify them, as of course the Earth's surface is irradiated. Well, this game is coming soon sometime to Steam, so you can't yet play it, but there are demos available from time to time, and especially during Steam's Base Building Fest, this and many other games are on sale as well. So if you'd like to see more, if you watch this far, make sure you smash that like button. Don't forget to subscribe and turn on the notification bell for more city builders and other tips and tricks for survival games and builders and whatnot, such as Banished. And let's go ahead and start with level 2, our first look at a new demo for Homeseek. A second sanctuary. Alright, so now we've basically found a secondary spot for a base after leaving our first one. Looks like we have ourselves a lot of water here, but of course it's toxified and there's not really anything we can do about that until we acquire new technology. So, onwards and upwards. We're going to have to discover technology for transporting water upwards and then research that once it's been found. Alright, well here we are. So this is why it's promising for us to build a base here. We've got ourselves a little bit of water coming out of this sewer here, and so there's definitely moisture under the surface too that we might be able to drag up and purify. But yeah, Earth's been destroyed. Seems to be an Amtrak train there, so this could be somewhere, anywhere in the United States, or who knows, anywhere really. But we have ourselves a lot of plants and berries around. Let's go ahead and pause time as we take a look around at where we'll be building a base. Interesting, in this game, it's not necessarily about building one large city, but about building a lot of small settlements to accomplish a particular goal. Which again reminds me of Mad Max, with it being like Bullet Town, or, well, Bullet Farm, or Gas Town, or whatnot. So let's go ahead and build ourselves the important first steps. Let's go ahead and start with a water extractor, and we have ourselves a well here. We'll be able to pump that to storage in order to make use of that. We'll go ahead and also build ourselves a food storage. So under here we have food storage. This has a circular area of effect that we can capture, it looks like 3 berry bushes with, so we'll be able to assign people to that and then distribute food through a building called the, I think it's just the food distribution building. Let's go ahead and wait, actually we need ourselves a water storage, so let's build that. We'll be able to put that nearby, and it's a good idea to keep that near people's homes and whatnot too, but also there's a little farm over here, so we'll go ahead and build it somewhere nearby. Looks like there's a vehicle there, but it also looks like we can build on top of that, so we'll go ahead and connect these two together. So one thing that stood out in this game when I first played it is that these buildings actually have to be linked together, and we can build piping in order to connect the water extractor to the water storage. So let's go ahead and see how that works. Our people now are rushing to build stuff. You can kind of see them running into settle these lands now, as they have led an expedition successfully from the other area to get out of that valley as it was running out of resources. And now we kind of have our first real location for a base with a lot of resources, including what looks to be a truck trailer and some cars, barrels, and other things like that. And kind of the same over here too. Lots of different scrap, iron and steel and other things we can use to build. So we got a little bit of materials now, about 500 scrap. That's going to be our main resource from these. Let's go ahead and take like one person and put them on each pile for now. But anybody who's on assigned will immediately become a construction worker, and they'll build anything and everything that we need to be built. So we'll go ahead and assign one person to each of these scrap piles for now. And hopefully eventually we'll be able to maybe take advantage of these buildings, but they're pretty much ruined. And so that's why we need to build ourselves an expedition building, which will then unlock a map for us to be able to go out and explore. Kind of like how Frostpunk works with the expeditions. Alright, looks like the first building is almost done, the food storage. We'll go ahead and start connecting that to berry bushes, which will assign one person to each. You can see that we have 18 workers out of 24 total population, and these people are really resilient. Building houses is not really a top priority for them. It's almost as a luxury. These people have been surviving off the land for so long well, cowering underground and trying to send out scouts and things like that. Kind of like how it is in Fallout, that they're still wise and able to survive above the surface quite some time without really any needs. All right, we're going to go ahead and connect to this water source here. And actually, what's cool here is that we can pick the type of piping. And in this case, we'll go ahead and go with plastic so that we can get 96... yeah, look at that. 96% effective in transporting water from here to there. So as you can see, it kind of builds around that scrap pile, but it's all good. So now, water is being pumped up from the well, put into the storage tank, and then pumped through the line to the water storage building, which unfortunately we're producing contaminated water. And eventually we'll be able to purify that, but we can also use this water for fertilization, and we can also pump salt water too, which all has to be cleaned in order to be, well, totally usable, but our people... yeah, it's better than nothing. We got food coming in now. Let's go ahead and get water coming in. Go ahead and assign 2 people to work there. And everyone else will probably put on grabbing some building materials. So we're probably going to keep maybe 5 people unassigned, so that way we can do some sort of construction. We now have 007. Oh, yes. Secret agent going. We'll go ahead and get maybe 1 more person for the water. Actually, let's bring it down to 5. There we go. So the main goal here is going to try to be to store enough food and water so then we can launch expeditions. And that's going to be the first and foremost thing we do, even before housing. Because housing is good, and same with the medical centers, but we need to get going on looking for all of that technology. More and more requests will come in for us to unlock more tech, and it's going to be very important. So even before the water distribution center or any of that, we should probably start on our expedition. So that's going to be right around here somewhere. There we are. So our community center, research center, and expedition center are all here. We need 700 parts in order to build that. So we'll go ahead and get everybody that we can on finding more and more parts. There we go. I guess we'll leave 1 person unassigned then to do random jobs around the camp as soon as the time comes. Wow, look at that destroyed building. All the destroyed buildings. The destroyed towns, rather. Factories and such nearby. Ooh, big old crater over there. That could be from maybe a meteorite, or maybe a nuclear bomb. Who knows? Or some large bomb. And another well down here, it seems. So we can actually expand our water network and gather more water from the southern part of the map if needed. Alright, well, we now almost have 700. It's coming in very slowly, but we're getting it. A couple more, and we have our expedition center. Excellent. Go ahead and build that near the camp. Probably right about there is a good spot. Fits in there perfectly. Excellent. So you can see a radar on top. That'll actually give us a map. We can take a look at all the settlements around us that might exist. There could be other survivors out there, both friend and foe, bandits, raiders, possibly traders. So there could be all sorts of good and bad things that await us out there. Let's go ahead and speed up time a little bit now while we wait for a little bit of construction and more materials to come in, more food's coming in, more water's coming in. Almost 300 on the water, 300 on the food, and what is that? Is that a body? Excavation. As we work to clear spaces for our makeshift dwellings, we discover a half-rotten corpse buried in a thin layer of dirt and sand. Oh, that means it wasn't there for long. As we examine it, it becomes clear that the person died violently. They were stabbed or beaten to death. A few other corpses shortly turn up around the camp with similar injuries. Oh no. Clearly some sort of vicious marauders prowl this territory. Alright, let's tell everyone to be on the lookout then. Let's not lie to our people. Eventually we're going to have to face them anyway, so it's better to be ready than unprepared. Alright, so that's going to be one of our first threats to deal with, is raiders. They could make demands, they may attack us, they could possibly hold people hostage, and all sorts of horrible things, and hopefully that doesn't come to that. Alright, there comes all that nasty water out of there, but we can purify it. At least it's a potential source for life. And that's going to be good for us. Alright, we got 1 person doing construction. Now, eventually more people will join us, and they will want homes. Each of our houses will hold 8 people, and so we probably will build 4 to hold everybody now, plus more people will come into the camp. That should give us over 24 spaces for people, or homes, or rooms, or whatnot, beds maybe. Medical center is here as well. We also have ourselves a Warka tower, which will bring in water at night, so another great way to generate passive income on water. And we have wetlands, so that will allow us to both farm, possibly maybe algae or whatnot. We'll have to connect that to our little thingy here. But also, there is farming in this game, so we'll be able to farm over here as soon as we clear this scrap pile, which is why we're at 5 out of 5. Let's try to clear it out as soon as possible. Looks like we're about 90 per hour on the collection, and it should last for about another 18 hours, so about another day before that's cleared and we can build on it. Now, this game also works on a 24-hour cycle, so similar to how it is in Frostpunk, people will kind of not necessarily build until it's like daytime, so these people will sleep throughout the day or the night and will not work unless it's day. All right, here's our map. Well, we've got some locations around here, a lot of small cities, or rather large cities more than likely. It'll be 8 hours to travel to this southern objective, so let's go ahead and get started with that. So how do we go back to our village? There we go. All right, so we need to assign a few people to go out on a expedition, but we're probably going to wait until we get a few more people to move into the camp first. We're still gathering a lot of materials that will be needed for that expedition, but essentially it works like this. We will assign up to 6 people to go out on an expedition that require water, food, and possibly scrap to go out and possibly break into buildings. They'll use scrap to make things, you know, like traps, maybe to capture a dangerous animal or to get some food, or they'll use it to make a makeshift tool to break into a room. So giving them everything they need to succeed is the utmost priority, especially when we need to go from location to location in order to find this tech. It could be anywhere, so we don't even know. Wow, you can actually see rain clouds passing over. All right. Got some shadows here. An excavator over there as well. Good luck finding fuel. That's probably not going to happen. All right, let's speed up time again. ×2. And that will be, what, the end of our first day? We're at day 0 right now. As you can see over here, it says working. It'll say resting as soon as we approach the nighttime and when everybody's going to grab some grub and whatnot for the night. Now, we don't really have any sort of distribution buildings for them yet, but again, these people are hardy and they know how to survive. So they can last 24 hours, maybe 48 hours without any of the necessities. Food and water first, and then shelter. But most importantly is the expedition on the left side. Oh, wow. We must have some sort of electricity here. Nope. It's actually torches. Torch there by the building. And possibly another one. Rain! Clouds from overhead. And before long, we are blessed with the rare visiting of rainfall. Hope surges among our community at the site. Maybe the world isn't truly dead after all. Rain will commence. All right. That might increase the output at the well. I think it actually pumps it out into a basin there. And then they put it into the storage. So there's a chance that we have a rain catcher. But also morale and other things will increase that way. And possibly the fertility of the farming areas. Wow, look at that. A rare sight indeed. Showing us our weather condition here. A rain can refill natural reserves such as wells and rivers. Oh, all right. So the 90 per hour, 14-hour source of... actually, my mistake. The 144-hour, 1 day, 3 hour source of the well will increase. Now, those workouts are important too, but again, the expeditions are so critically important. Let's go ahead and try to build some remnants of a house. We want some of these remains to be turned into a building. Looks like we can't build there. I'm not even sure if we can clear those out. Let's go ahead and build 2 here at least. Maybe we'll build a 3rd house down there. But luckily the materials are not immediately spent for the houses. There we go. And when this berry bush is depleted, we'll build another house. So I believe the materials need to be delivered over time, and then you can see people coming over to work. Oh, looks like they will do construction in the nighttime. Okay, good. But during the day, everybody will be at work, and so the one remaining person will do some of that. So if it doesn't get complete, there'll still be progress on that. So it looks like we have 2 more berry bushes here, another 2 more scrap piles there, another one at the bottom, and another area which looks like it's perfect for farming, arable land. So there is a chance to be able to do more farming and also more water wells. Let's speed up time again. Wow, those houses are quick to build. Alright, we have 8 out of 8 occupants in each of the homes. And we'll need to build one more in order to house everybody with more people on the way. Okay. Sounds lovely. Rain tapping away at the roofs of all the new tin buildings. Of course, made out of scrap wood and other things. Alright, time for running water. Discover a technology for collecting water from the river. Discover that technology and apply it at the river. So yeah, it's all coming down to taking advantage of pumping out that river water. And then we'll have a... Actually, this not only could be an area for water production, but also... Hey, and look at that, the water... That's cool. The rainwater actually increased the water flowing from the river. Oh, that's really cool. A nice little touch from the devs to show that the rain actually created a ton of water now in the river that we could see the rocks before. But this could be a great area not only to gather water, but also farming. And it'd be a great area for trade as the days of the Nile, etc. Alright, let's go ahead and see what we got for remaining food. 19... 7, yep. Everybody's having their daily rations. Now, I believe if we build a food storage building, rather a food distribution center, overall consumption from food will decrease. Now, the only problem with these buildings is that we need workers for them, of course. But we'll go ahead and do that as soon as people are here, which they are on their way. So let's go ahead and build a food distribution building to lower that consumption. And let's do the same with the water distribution building. And I'm not sure if they need to be connected to their source building, but we'll build them nearby, since there's open space. Alright, back to speed 2. We see a lot of rain clouds again. That's promising for another rainfall. Migrants! After the rain clears, a small band of migrants pass our camp. Alright, come on in. We accept every newcomer. We need more hands for more work. Let's increase the people working at the well. And also gathering food. We'll kind of keep the maximum amount of labor up at the top here. And we got everybody assigned. So what I think we'll do is we'll actually cut this down to... Let's go ahead and cut that to 0. By the way, any of these buildings need to be within the yellow to at least function. So, for example, the water well will not function unless there's at least 2 people working there. So... Keep in mind, buildings do have an absolute minimum. We're going to try to get 6 workers here, though. For an expedition. And also for construction. Now that we're building a few structures, I want those extra hands to be available for construction. At least, seemingly so. Another bomb crater there. A roundabout. Would be great if we could use this train for something. Lots of mechanical parts. Copper. Maybe fuel and batteries. Probably couldn't be used, but could be broken down for more useful materials. Alright, things are going well so far. Especially our water, that's pretty well too. Alright, back to speed 2. More water coming in. Citizen has died. Ooh. Looks like we need to worry about health then. Let's go ahead and build a medical center. We're still providing our people with food and water. Oh no. Maybe that person got lucky by dying before this. The Dust Devils. A pair of Wastelanders clad in makeshift armor approach our camp. Brandishing their weapons threateningly, they loudly proclaim that they're making camp in the territory that we are making camp in the area that belongs to them, the Dust Devils. Now we must pay a tribute to them if we wish to remain. I don't think so. We hatedly object, refusing to meet their extraordinary demands. Look at that. 200 water, 200 food, 200 scrap. No. This is Raptoria, sir. Alright, food distribution center. Let's apply somebody to work there. And we'll take from the food storage building. And let's assign somebody to work there. And take from the water distribution center. Select building to connect to. Oh, we have to take it from the, not the pump, but the, yeah, the storage. We had to build that all the way back. Alright, so in retrospect, when we set this up, we should probably build our water extractor, and then our storage here, and then our distribution center there. But it's okay. Pipes are going to go across the map regardless, because once we build our farm, they're also going to have to go over here too. So they'll wind everywhere. But it's a good use of materials to have the higher quality pipes, so that way no water or little water is wasted. Okay. Well, those bandits are likely to attack us now. And indeed they are. Bandit raid! The alarm is raised when a survivor spots a group of bandits heading towards the encampment. The raiding party raises half the dust storm. Oh. Yeah, are they the reason for the dust storm, or are they using it for cover? Gives us some time to decide a course of action. We know that our encampment will probably outnumber the raiders, but we expect that they will be better armed and more vicious. Take shelter and try to mount a defense. Oh, so it looks like they're going to take what they want now. Have some survivors attempt to defend the more valuable stores of resources, even if that puts some of them in harm's way. Yeah, we're going to have to do that. We need those resources to go out on that expedition. If the bandits don't kill us, the lack of water will, and that's our main goal. Wow, look at those weaponry. We mounted defense of our encampment, preventing the bandits from ransacking everything. However, they still make off with some food, water, and scrap, and many of us sustain injuries in the melee. Alright, so they only took half, but now we need some people to be in the hospital. Let's go ahead and get some doctors in there and get everybody cured up. So it looks like we have 4 slots. 2 of your citizens are very sick. 2 citizens are exhausted. Alright, let's make another house for the exhaustion. Actually, let's see if we can demolish that building. There we go. Okay. Good. Right spot for that one. Okay, so the sick will be able to heal themselves at the infirmary, and anybody who's exhausted will be able to rest in a house. We've earned it. Good job, folks, but we got to get cracking here soon on some other projects. Let's go ahead and stop gathering berries from there. We'll gather a little bit closer. And we need to start going out on some expeditions. The technology that we're going to find is going to be something to pump up the water from the river to be able to store it and possibly pump it upwards. Not only out of the river, but maybe uphill to where we are now, or to perhaps another city that we're going to found in the future. Whoever's giving us orders has a pretty good idea of what will come next for our people. And they seem to be trustworthy so far. Alright, everybody rushing back to work again. Want to get that area cleared so we can do farming. And once they're coming to their wounds there, more than likely. Oh, it was actually one of the doctors. Wow, okay. Maybe they weren't wounded. I hope the game didn't assign somebody who was wounded to work as a doctor. Like, give them a hospital bed first. Alright. Well, stranger things. Let's go ahead and lower the number of people working. Let's go for food. And we'll try to get an expedition going. Although, again, we have very limited food. Looks like we'll have to assign everybody to food again. I want to go out on an expedition, but we need good food numbers, which is why I wanted to defend our camp as best as possible. Let's see if there's any other areas for farming. That's going to be the best one, and since water's rather limited, We want to make sure we make the best choice for that. Additionally, we could build the other food production building, which is the wetlands, but that's basically converting contaminated water to pour water, so we got to build that in addition to the farm. That's right. I was thinking this was an algae deposit, but this is actually... Well, actually, I think it does filter it through that. Go complete summary. Oh, there you go. Oh, that's nice. Gives you detail if you hit the Alt key to convert 300 water to 240 well, pour water, which is good for farming. Of course, we could also do another water extractor down there and then do farming. And the farm down here is actually... It's plausible to build one now and start farming. Although the problem is the number of workers, and we're going to need a lot of scrap to build those buildings. Ah, but look at that. Scrap has been cleared. Perfect. Good timing. We'll start up here instead. Let's build our farm there. And we'll build our wetlands. Very, very huge footprint for that thing. And hopefully we'll let the unassigned do their job. 2 citizens are depressed, will not go to work. Cover their food needs and water, of course. And we got 4 people in the hospital, so we're taking care of them as best as possible. Is there a upgrade for this building? Not at the moment. Alright, great. Now we can connect these buildings up. So let's connect the water storage to the wetlands. And the wetlands... Click to create a new outgoing connection. 0 active output connections. Is it too far? It might need to be within range of the farm there. Damn. Tricky in this game to actually find a space to put things. We might be able to use that contaminated water. Well, maybe we can use the contaminated water for farming. That might not have as much of an effect, but perhaps this water could be drinkable. Let's see. Can be used for citizens' needs and irrigation with a medium poisoning chance. Can be used for citizens' needs and irrigation, but poisoning chance is high. I feel like it'd be actually safer to use that as a... use the contaminated water for crops rather than straight drinking. I mean, there's at least a chance, a less of a chance. Looks like they dig holes in the ground and then fill it with plastic and then fill that with algae or other seaweeds for filtering. Pretty cool, actually. It looks like it goes through several layers of filtering. Pretty neat. You need to connect this building. Yeah, it looks like there's going to be some sort of source to do something with that, so it's got to be over here. We could also build it down here, probably. Uh-oh. More refugees. Come on in. We need to assign everybody as soon as possible to jobs. So this game really gets tedious. A lot of it is like Frostpunk, where it you know, at the start it seems like really fun and possibly manageable with a little challenge, but this is quite challenging actually. Even in our previous video and another live stream on this game, things do get quite tricky, and it's quite fun to do. Okay, we got a few people on that farm there. Looks like we are using that irrigated, the contaminated water for irrigation. But now we'll have a great field day with food output. Still got to go on those expeditions, but really we need a lot of food and a lot of water to do it. Build a water extractor here. Although we'd need to build another storage nearby. But the water being stored is the same as the water being underground, except it's just usable. That's good. Oh boy, we're getting a lot of sick now. Not exactly sure how to prevent that. But we do need to be able to address it. I like how they made the medical center out of some ambulances that they found. Looks like they're able to use that for maybe medical rooms. Well, let's build another medical center nearby. Must try to save as many lives as possible. So the way this will work too in the expedition menu is that we'll send out an expedition to one location, then it could unlock 2 more locations. There's also the potential of finding other survivors out there. Of course, our workers could be attacked, or our expedition could be attacked by animals or refugees, mutants, bandits, other people. Could be both good and bad things out there. Resource pile has been depleted. Great. Ah, yes, now we need to connect our output. That's strange. We should be able to connect this output to... We see the large circle here. We should be able to connect this to either the food storage or food distribution center. Maybe it just hasn't produced food yet, but it should be something we could set up in advance. Maybe it's just not being able to use the water. Although... yes, it's at 0%. Water storage to farm to food storage. That's the production chain. Water storage, farm, food storage. Water storage, farm, food storage. Maybe we connect the food storage to the farm. Oh, it's because these other ones are connected. There we go. Oh, yeah. So the food distribution building was linked to 3 out of 3. So we needed to cut that link. Okay. All right, that makes sense. Another good thing I like about this game is that some things are a little different, but not impossible or unusual to find out. It's just a different way of setting up work groups that way. Pretty nice. Alright, so now we should have a massive boost of food. Hopefully we'll get some more water. The worker tower could give us a boost for the farming at night. This is something that we unlock in the first episode as well. In the first campaign mission, these are things that we discover how to manufacture ourselves, and then we can use them to generate extra water. It will be contaminated, but it could offset the expenses of the farm's water usage. And any surplus water that goes into storage is one more for the expeditions. That's a big plus. Like Switzerland's flag. It's also a big plus. Okay, well, we got 6 people available. What can we do with them? Let's speed up time again. We're going into the nighttime, almost 5 o'clock. More scrap is being gathered. That's good. Ah, fugitives. A gang of armed wastelanders wearing Dust Devil colors approach the outskirts of the camp, demanding to speak with us. Brandishing their weapons, they claim we are in possession of slaves that are rightfully theirs. We quickly realize that the wounded survivors we welcomed to our community earlier must be escapees. Tell the envoy off. Yeah, we can't keep making payments to these guys like that. We'll never be able to do the things we want to do. Alright, well now we got extra medical for all the people who are about to be wounded, likely from that decision. And we have a problem here with connections. Oh. Also, the distance in which you build your pipes from the storage matters. So if you build very close to your water storage, you will actually have a lot less material usage. From copper at 90, iron to 94, and plastic to 98. It'll use a little bit more of it. Alright, so even when the workers are sleeping for the water facility, we'll be making extra water. Source has been depleted. Okay. Now this could be replenished whenever we get a rainstorm, so it's not completely hopeless. But it's why we can't keep paying those guys payments all the time for water. Not a water extractor, we want a water storage. There we go. Now, upon several playthroughs, this is where we're going to learn how to exactly use the arable land and how to use that water filtration system a little bit better. Very good. Great to see all the extra food coming in. Don't think there's a way for us to control rations in this game. At least not at the moment, but there certainly is a possibility to be able to do a lot more food control by at least maxing the production and then allowing everybody to back off on that and eat it later. Sabotage! A survivor alerts the encampment that our water reserves have sprung a leak. It's only natural that makeshift tanks will fail from time to time, but we find an odd scrape and dent that is evident in the tank near the source of the dent. Some of us can't help but think sabotage is involved. Minus 500 water. Wow. Wow, big hit. Not easy, is it? Not easy. We're going with plastic piping there. And we'll go ahead and try to put more people on that. But that's why these towers are going to be important, that passive income. And now, unfortunately, we're at maximum water output there, or connections. We can always disconnect the previous connection to the exhausted well until it rains. That's always a thing we can do. These Worka towers really don't cost a lot of material, do they? Only 200. But at this point, every drop counts. Now we have a lot of people. I want to build some more houses too. Let's increase that food income. Looks like there's 5 sick. We only have 3 in the hospital out of 5. Build another house if we can. There we go. Now, even though the bandits attack, it doesn't look like there's any sort of defensive buildings at the moment. But I hope in future missions that we'll have some sort of defensive structure or weapons that we can give our people. And be able to ambush the enemy as they're approaching, or possibly fight them on the map. But it seems to be mostly text-based. Decisions that will give a consequence. Alright, we're approaching midnight. Let's speed up again. Alright, people are moving and shaking here. And to bed. There they go. Looks like we have enough housing. Oh, actually, maybe this tells us of our homelessness. We may need to build another one, but we'll see here. Assign another person to the hospital. Fighting back. As your community struggles to get back on its feet, we ponder ways to bolster our camp's defenses. Someone suggests constructing barricades out of our surplus scrap to give us extra cover against enemy attacks. Great idea. Construct the defenses. Well, that water is flowing still from that previous rain. Gotta be coming from those mountains. As we can see on the expedition map, there's certainly a lot of mountains up here. The water could be flowing right through the city. Oh, that's cool. This thing over on the left side is a printer. I realize that now. I was always wondering what that thing was before, but it reminds me of the error report or the when you make a mistake in Papers, Please. But yes, there will be deaths. Tensions are growing. After our recent actions, a nearby gang of bandits have become remarkably more vicious and uncontrollable. They're a dangerous enemy already, but if we keep antagonizing them, the tensions between our groups could spiral out of control. Yes, we don't want a catastrophe, that's for sure. What are these guys carrying? Yeah, we don't want any sort of catastrophes here, or catastrophically failing to appease them. That'd be no bueno. Alright, let's go ahead and connect these. Now we have some more construction complete. Oh, can this only connect to 3? It can, okay. There may be upgrades to make it so that way we can connect to more of those, but we'll go ahead and leave this work on backup for when the other water extractor is empty. And this one is completely at 0, yeah. So our water is really going to hurt until we've got all of those water sources working. Luckily, we still are producing water at both of these. As you can see, the little wheels are turning, letting us know when they create water. They're creating 14 per hour at 80%. Mostly between 20 and 5. So yeah, we're getting water income even at night. An amazing game, I must say, so far. We haven't completed our main goals yet, but it seems like the first major hurdle is food and water. And then directly related to that is the food and water that the bandits and scrap that they continue to try to steal, and then the raids on the camp and the constant fighting back and forth and the sabotage, trying to take our resources that we're trying to gather, both in farming and also in the river, but mostly through the wells at the moment. But then, of course, the main overall goal is to build those whatever technology gives us the ability to pump water out of that river and into storage. A much more challenging mission than the first one, and I believe this is literally the second mission of the game, with the first one being quite challenging too, and with a lot of less resources where, again, these Warka towers have to actually be found. A lot of this technology that we're using now, medical centers, Warka towers, we don't get those. Essentially, you start with a water extractor, a bush, and food distributors, and that's about it. Just the distribution buildings, and have to find everything else. So that one is very heavy on the expedition. This one as well, but that's kind of more of the final goal, with the ability to go out and find more scrap. Essentially, when this scrap is gone, we're going to have to pull in scrap from the world map. So we're going to have to launch those expeditions to do it. But we can try to launch an expedition just to see what it would be like now. Let's go ahead and get a few people ready to go. And let's start a new expedition just to say we did it. 6 people ready to go. We have barely any water, barely any food, barely any scrap, but we could try to send our people out. Additionally, they can find materials when they're out in the field. So let's send 1,000 for them. Wow, no days of food, water. Oh, they also need scrap in order to set up their camps for the night, too. Traveling speed is 1 times 1. Boy, yeah, we're not going to be able to get those resources for food and water. Crazy. We just have so many people eating. Let's see. Now we can go ahead and assign a few people here and there. So 19 food, 100 and something water. The farm produces every 150 every 2. You could receive 2 in 2 hours. You could receive. Not exactly sure what that means. Oh, that's interesting. The farm actually stops production at nighttime, as if the farm needs to be maintained by the workers in order to grow. The plant should still be growing, but I guess they have to do things like, I don't know, weeding, but it's so barren out here. Yeah, more citizen deaths. Now starting to approach dehydration. Well, we're not going to be able to send out that expedition, that's for sure. But if we do, it would be here first to be able to go to the ruined village, which could eventually find us only 8 hours, so we could find some resources there. Wow, more resources have been depleted. Damn. I knew this one was tricky, but that's crazy. Let's at least send out an expedition now. Now, this is only 8 hours to get there, so we might not even need to use these resources. Let's get our people together. And of course, bandits will be on the way. Alright, the first group is waiting. Let's go ahead and deploy them. And they'll be at the first destination shortly. Now, I'm not sure if the day-night cycle affects their use of water and food and scrap, but it kind of is a cool thing to travel at night and to be able to go to these destinations safely through the cover of night. Alright, they've made it there. Let's see. So this is what it's like when we reach these locations, and this looks to be a ruined village that somehow has a bunch of conveyor belts for a quarry. Take extra care when searching the battlefield for salvage. Risk is too great. Find another way into the village. Now we can even see our members and their health and other stats about them. Interesting. Go ahead and search it out. So your people will be there for a few days, which I guess the trek is not necessarily the requirement for completing the mission, but it's the staying there. It's not the journey, it's the destination, right? Interesting. Woo! Well, this one's a doozy. For a first look at this one, I could tell it's going to be tough, and I'm definitely going to come back to play this one in a live stream on the channel, too. So if you're looking forward to that, make sure you smash the like button and subscribe. Turn on that notification bell. Thanks again, everybody, for watching our first look at the new mission for Homeseek. A very beefy one, and one that's going to certainly take a lot of skill and testing in order to get just right. So thank you very much for all your positivity, support, and kindness. Thank you very much for watching, as always, and I hope to see you all very soon. Thanks again for watching, folks. Goodbye.